Hey guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. So today is Christmas Eve, and as we get close to the end of the year, I had a couple last minute ideas for topics that we could talk about today. And so we're gonna dive right in. This week, we're gonna talk about the biggest asset many of you will ever own, and that's your home. One thing we've never talked about on the channel is that particular part of someone's portfolio. Generally, we're talking about investments and or vehicles, more vehicles than anything, but I thought it might be time to discuss a little bit, something a little more real, something that, you probably ought to own before you run out and buy an investment car or anything like that. And so today's topic, again, that's gonna be your home. So if you're already a homeowner, you know that in the last 2-3 years, your home has probably gone up 20, 25, 30%, maybe more depending on the area you live. The house that I live in, we bought it 9 years ago, and I would say that it's not quite tripled, probably 2.5 times what we paid. And so that said, that's a fantastic, fantastic investment. And the trouble with that though is, for round number's sake, let's say I paid $300,000 for the house, and today I'm guesstimating it's worth $750,000, maybe $800,000. Now, if I were to sell the house, let's say I did get $800,000, anywhere that I'm gonna look is also that high, right? So that's kind of the way the housing market works, is unless you're downsizing or unless you're moving out of the area, having property values climb the way that they have been climbing isn't necessarily beneficial to anybody except for, again, those folks that are looking to move out of the area or downsize. People who come to the area, obviously they're gonna have to pay a premium depending on where they came from. Maybe they got top dollar for their place too. And that's just kind of how the housing market works. Now, if you're a lender, right now is kind of a weird time to be a lender because rates are at pretty historic lows. You can still go get a home or refinance for 3% or less in some scenarios. Most loans are gonna be between 3 and 3.5 anymore. And so all that to say, money is cheap, right? If you've got an investment account that is more fixed income than anything, and you're looking at, CDs, bonds, treasuries, those kind of things, you're not earning much in interest. I guarantee your savings account's not paying you anything, maybe a dime, maybe a penny, it's nothing at all. You're almost better off storing your cash in your safe or wherever you might want to keep it, because the banks aren't just going to pay anything. So, right. So again, borrowing money is cheap. Lending money is okay, but again, depending on the rates, depending on what you're trying to do, all those things, not good. So I'd say every week I get the random call that says, hey Josh, I've got, $500,000 in equity in my house. Would I be smart to refi, take some of that cash out at 3% and invest in the market? Now, if you look back over time, the S&P has done extremely well year over year over year. If you go back, I don't know how long, 80 years, 75 years, it's something like a 10.5 or 11% annual return on the S&P 500 over time. Now, that doesn't mean this year is going to be down or up, next year is not going to be up or down. We don't know what the future brings. We don't have a crystal ball. But if history has shown us the way the markets work, when they go up, they go up. When they go down, they go down. So when they go down, there's never been a time in history that the stock market hasn't rebounded and then reached new highs. It always comes back. It never hasn't. And as long as we have an economy and as long as we have a country, that will continue to remain true. As uncomfortable as it is for your portfolio to lose value, over time it will come back, and over time it will do fine. So I'm not here to tell you that you should refi your house, take money out at 3% and then go invest in the market. I can't do that. I can't encourage a client. I can't encourage you as a total stranger to leverage your livelihood, right? Your home, again, is probably the largest asset you're ever going to own. And having debt against it is a risk. And so I would never, ever encourage someone to change their financial situation by taking on debt to potentially make money in the market. Now, again, history has shown that is very likely to happen again. There's no guarantee. What happens if you refi your house, take as much equity as you can, and then the housing bubble bursts and you're left holding the bag, right? You might have an $800,000 house that falls to 400,000, and if you owe anything more than that 400,000, now you're probably in trouble, right? You've got negative equity. I just wouldn't wish that on somebody, and I couldn't encourage someone to take money out. Now, all that to say, if you're willing to, then you know what, there's opportunities out there. There are times where it makes some sense to do something like that, maybe consolidate other outside debts, things like that. But you do want to use the bank's money when you can. And again, dollars are cheap. So if you haven't already, consider refinancing, getting a lower payment on your mortgage. Even if you don't do a cash out refi, see what the rates are and see what your new payments could be. Because realistically, I'll use round numbers. Let's say my mortgage is $1,500 and I refi and that mortgage payment goes from $1,500 to $1,100, okay? I could do one of two things. I could continue to pay $1,500 at a lower interest rate, which means I'm gonna pay off the house faster, or I can take that $400 difference each month and actually invest that in the market. Now that's not a bad idea. So those are some strategies, and I am happy to share further strategies with you guys. I just barely scratched the surface. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to consider when we're talking about, equity, investing, the whole nine. So I'm gonna kind of cut us down there today. That's all I got for you. Like always, if you like my content, please subscribe, please comment down below. Share with me what it is that you'd love to see me talk about and what you'd like to, maybe some topics that I have never talked about or new things, whatever it is. Share that with me. Feel free to send emails, whatever it is. I love to communicate with you guys and share this stuff. I have a great time doing it, and hopefully it brings some value to you guys. But most importantly, please remember that every investment you make should be a good one. Till next time.